Hello there guys, it's Joey. So this is a requested cat totem spell set for the store. So before we talk about the energies within, I will just mention here that I do indeed take custom orders still. And if there is a particular energy you are looking for in the store, be it a totem set or otherwise, I can absolutely tailor make it for you, it's no problem. So, with that in mind, there was a cat totem originally, and for the lady whose set this is, I don't know if she's happy for me to say whose it is, so I won't say out in public, but she asked me for the cat totem set and kind of left me to my own devices, apart from the actual physical bits that she wanted, the sort of naming the cauldron and the spell orb and the oil and the herbal blend. Now when it comes to individual sets for particular people, I feel that it's important that it resonates around the energy which I get from them, the feeling I get from them. So I've talked before at length about the fact that each spell set needs to have its own dance, its own soul, its own vibration. And it's very important that even within the scope of the same idea, this being a cat totem set in this case, that the energies align to the individual for whom it is intended, particularly when it's something like a totem set. So with the cat totem, I kept certain aspects which I felt were integral to the energy and idea of the cat totem set, and then I started to play with it. So it became personalised, it became specific, it became the story of that person and cat totem energy. So in general terms, there is still a level of protection, mystery, sensuality, magic, sexuality, and obviously the goddess Bast within this energy. There is also this curious balance between a regality and a commanding presence, balanced with the need for a little bit more of a secrecy, stepping through the shadows, illusion and cunning, knowing when to speak, when to be commanding, when to have presence, when to be forceful, and knowing when to move away and be quiet and watch. And that's very true of cats and cat energy and cat magic. And it's very interesting to me, this very delicate balance between the two, because cats have this regality, this presence, this commanding energy, but they're also really cunning, and they can slink away into the shadows and go unnoticed, and it's almost trickster energy, but not quite, if that makes sense. It's two sides of the same coin. It's like the king and the trickster, or the queen and the female version of a trickster. Tricky. I'm guessing it's trickster, but I'm just being silly. Okay, so it's a beautiful, complementary, hand-in-hand two sides of the self. It's really interesting to me. The commanding presence goes hand in hand with a very strong feminine sexuality. There's a very in charge of oneself energy here. A love of sensuality and being sensual and of the sensual nature of things. It's almost tactile. It's almost like you can feel it. It's almost like you can touch and feel and smell this amazing, luxurious feeling to this set. It's Interesting. It's been a journey. Right, so I'm going to move everything and talk about the products individually. And we'll start with the Herbal Blend, because it follows from what I just said. So, oh, amethyst isn't included. Sorry, I'm imbuing with it. Okie dokie. So the Herbal Blend, I was going to say originally it's more of based on how it smells than how it looks, but I think it actually looks kind of pretty in the end result. I had a feeling that it was going to be one of these which is much more about its scent and the sort of sensual inhalation of all of its energies. It creates a very strong visualization. It's not quite Egyptian, although it has that kind of feel. It's something really ancient, and it throws up the idea of temples and sort of the sensuality and the sexuality within temple worship. I hope that makes sense, because that's how it is. It's like the sacred feminine, but also the sexually empowered sacred feminine. And the smell is amazing, to the point where I may well be making some of this and using it, and I'm not quite sure how. I don't technically work with cat totem energy, but I think the Morrigan would enjoy this in her sexual aspect. It's gorgeous. It smells so good. It really does. And I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I did something a little bit different with this particular Herbal Blend. And it took a little bit longer than it would otherwise, because I did this secret ingredient thing, and I'm really pleased with it. I think it smells amazing. I mean, it's my preference, and I can say so, I suppose, because I made it, but I really, really enjoy this scent. I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to sit here and sniff it. I really like it. Yum! So then we will show you the Herbal Blend. We've just done that, Joe. We will show you the spelt oil. I'm looking at the Herbal Blend and talking. I shouldn't do that. So then the new spell bottles that came are slightly fatter and shorter, like me, but they contain the same amount of oil. So this is the spell oil, and I got these little charms especially for this particular set. Can you see? I think they're so. I love them. I love the little charms. There's a real light to this particular spelt oil. It really captures the light really well, and it almost seems to glow all by itself. A bit like cat's eyes reflecting in light in the darkness, which I kind of like. So again, this spell oil has that commanding sensuality. It's probably the most sensual out of all of them, the oil. The oil you can even dab on and wear like a perfume. It's that sort of naughty, sensual, and I almost feel myself moving like a cat when I'm talking about this energy, because that's how it feels. It feels like that very... How do you even describe it? You know, when you think about 1950s movie stars, and they're curvy, and they move with a very deliberate sensuality and a sexuality, and it's all in the physical movement, and cats can do that as well, particularly when they're in heat, and big cats move with that power and that prowess and that authority, but you know, it's a very sensual and it's almost primal dance. Does that make any sense? I can feel myself going mad. Madder. And that's what kind of energy this set really gives off, this beautiful depth of sexuality. It's empowering and feminine and sensual. It's wonderful. So there you go, that's the spell oil. And then there is the spell orb. Again, we have the little charm that I got specially. I went and got the ribbon specially. So there is a balance in this set between black and white, which is done on purpose. The balance between black and white is done for the fur babies in question. The ladies' fur babies have more of a black and white feel. But I felt really strongly about this sort of balance between polar opposites of this regality and this commanding presence and this almost queen or king-like energy alongside that trickster energy, that cunning energy, that I don't know exactly how to put it, that illusion energy, I guess. And it's almost the difference between night and day, but within the same scope. So it creates a duality, which I like. So I get the beautiful ribbon as an almost grey, it's a white grey shimmer, so it's between the two. And I hope you can see inside. It's reflecting like crazy, which I really wish it wouldn't, because then you can't see inside so well. Here we go. And last but not least is the spell Goblin. Again, we have the black and white and the charm. I really love these charms, I think they're awesome. And the top of the spell cauldron, stop looking at things and talking at the same time, Joe, is supposed to reflect the night sky, and it's a very much a nighttime-esque energy once again. So cats are nocturnal for the most part, but some house cats sort of tend to switch up a bit, but technically speaking cats are quite nocturnal. So they do tie into the nighttime energies, which works with the sensuality energies as well, of course. As well as that illusion energy works well with the nighttime energies of not being seen when you don't wish to be. And this spell cauldron has a very protective vibe alongside its sensuality, its sexuality, its feminine mysteries, and its energy of pure magic. This almost ended up looking like a whisker, which is interesting. Isn't that cool? How that ended up looking like a whisker? So there you go. So I hope you like it. Let's pop everything back in again. So there we go. Ooh. And many blessings.